and welcome to the In Search of Meaning podcast. First, I'd like to know what you think of what's happening here.
I think I've been invited to a podcast related to art and something about the meaning of life. Something along that line. And I think it will be mostly delving into philosophical aspects of it as well as some other non-philosophical aspects of it.
Yeah, sure. It completely depends on you of how philosophical you want this to be.
Yeah.
So it depends on us where we let the conversation go. So yes, we'll start with art and how's your relationship with art and how often you consume it. And all of that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So what's your relationship with art?
Okay, so art is something which I believe is anything which is thought-provoking in nature, and as well as like in a positive sense, something which makes you go take a step back and make you think oh wow, I saw something. It's something which I said in a positive aspect. There can be something in negative aspects as well, but sticking to the positive aspects of art, something which is thought or emotion provoking makes art to me.
Okay.
So along that line, I would say, let's say, at a very high level, nature is a piece of art as well, like stars and galaxies and stuff.
Okay.
But like sticking to the man-made conception of art, I would say. So I have. So actually, I appreciate art and I like to explore further categories into. So let's say movies, music, books, or paintings, so on and so on. So let's say music, I would say I really admire music from classic instruments, let's say sitar, piano, and violin. So that's one. And movies I watch a lot. So there are many older movies which I appreciate, the cinematography and the storytelling, as well as.
In what languages or?
So I've mostly stuck in so I've watched a few Russian as
great.
But
Tarkovsky and all.
but mostly English and Hindi.
Okay.
Some Japanese, I think.
Nice. So you great art depends on how thought-provoking it was.
Yeah. So if that is the case, I would say I would stick with books. Those have been the most thought-provoking to me, and I would say I would grade them at a higher status in my collection of art. So, for example, I would say.
So do this one thing. 3 to 5 recommendations in music, books, and movies from your side.
Okay. So music. Okay. So music, I would say. So let's say I like sitar. So currently I'm singing Anushka Shankar produces some sitar, as well as her father was a sitarist. When it comes to piano, I would say there was one called Parkable. I don't know. I think my favorite one is Canon by him. And violin like Vivaldi. I really like his work. So those were the ones which.
So you're also into Western classical, not just Indian.
Yeah.
Nice. In Western classical, have you explored a lot? You know Yo-Yo Ma and all.
I have heard his name, but I'm mostly older ones. Right? What
So Yo-Yo Ma is he takes Bach, you know Bach, right? Yeah. So he has with his own twist, he with violin and piano he does his thing.
Okay.
And he's great at it.
Okay. I mean, I have heard some references of him in movies, but I have not seen him.
In what movies have you heard his references?
Don't remember, but there was one. I think it was Pulp Fiction, but I am not sure if it was there or not.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. In Pulp Fiction, there was a classical reference, but I'm not sure.
But I'm not sure. I have heard it. That's what I can remember.
So books.
Books, okay. So the first one being there's a book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Great.
So that's I actually so every time you read it you find different perspectives of it. That's what I actually found. I mean at that time being a ruler next day anything can happen, right? He can be stabbed, poisoned, or invaded. So the thought process which was there is very much applicable in current life as well, and I really appreciate that book a lot. And one another book I would say it's like Can't Hurt Me by David Collins.
Wow, you've read that? Great. Yeah.
That's what I had. So that's so that actually changed my perspective towards human limitations. I actually tried to implement like that's for running. I didn't used to run a lot before. My brother used to, and I used to think like he can only and I can't. And so while reading his stuff, I realized, why not do something big? So I increased my running distance 2 or 3 folds, and then I'm just so anything is possible. Just we don't do it. Our brain stops it from happening. So, yep, that was a very good tip from it. Books. Okay. Third book. Okay. One. So I liked another one was on Richard Feynman. It's like surely you must be joking. Mr. Feynman. That's what I read. I mean, so like
I was going to read this book, but I didn't read it. Like, is it a biographical book or what is it? Like?
Yes, kind of biography. I mean, yeah, he narrated his stuff, and it was accumulated and converted into a book.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. On the David Goggins front, so even like I understand completely what you just said that you started running a lot. I discovered David Goggins and John Wick at the same time.
Okay.
So John Wick just upped the scale, and from David Goggins I picked up that you can do anything. So I used to run 3 to 4 kilometers max. That too at a very slow pace. And after 4 kilometers, like done. I can't run anymore. And the day I saw John Wick, and I was also reading Can't Hurt Me. I guess after a week, I went to a run and I finished 15 kilometers at once. It was a huge leap for me. Yeah. So now movies.
Okay.
Or would you like to share more books if you have? No? Okay.
I have, but like let's switch to some other.
Yeah, movies.
Okay, movies. So in movies, I would say I prefer Nolan movies. Actually, those are like really thought-provoking in nature, and so if you want to name, you can name all of them, but
so okay, Nolan's one recommendation next.
Next one would be of the Spielberg movies. So one movie that I watched was this Schindler's List. So at that time we used to learn about history, but didn't used to know in depth. So our history teacher was very passionate about telling it, and we didn't understand it. So I just
recommended the movie.
No. Okay. So I used to watch movies like. So at that time, internet wasn't that much prevalent. So movies used to. So let's say Academy Awards is coming, then used to show nominations or winners, stuff like this happened. So I actually discovered Schindler's List, and just
Oscars.
Just like it was showing. So so it's a black and white movie, right? So my first thought was it must be quite old, but then I saw Liam Neeson in there. But then I thought it shouldn't be, and from that point onwards, I understood that this is about World War II and what happened.
Okay.
So it was depicted in a very, let's say, emotional and thought-provoking way as well.
Okay. You saw this when it was released?
No, I watched. So it was released in 1990s. I was really not born at that time, but I watched it later.
Okay. How old were you?
I would say I was in 8th or 9th standard. 9th
standard,
I think. I remember like those 9th or 10th, I think. World War II was being taught in our curriculum, and it happened after that. So I was able to relate.
Okay, so that was one of your first thought-provoking movies.
Thought-provoking movies. So it's hard to recollect, but I would say it's one of the.
Okay, nice.
Which has a name.
And few more movies.
So few more like ones you mentioned from the Russian filmmaker.
Okay, nice. Tarkovsky, great. Have you seen Andrei Rublev?
No, actually.
Solaris.
Yeah, Solaris.
Yeah. That's like his most famous movie. Right?
Yeah.
Nice. Even Steven Soderbergh directed the same Solaris movie. It's from a book. So it's very dreamy, from Tarkovsky. Like he has shot it in a very dreamy way.
Yeah.
It's not convenient to understand. It just floats.
It just floats. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Steven Soderbergh had a completely different take. You can watch it if you want because it's a very different take on Solaris because we understand that story as something very dreamy and like on a very subconscious type movie. But Soderbergh's movie is pretty plain. It's very concise.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
But Tarkovsky had a very open take, and okay, so let's just take arts and sciences. Arts is very divergent. It takes you to places, and science is convergent. It takes you to one precise place. Soderbergh took just complete a very creative piece and took it to a very scientific and clear. It would be a very different perspective for you to watch. Yeah. And any more movies you have? Movies, so I mean, like, there's a huge collection of movies, but would they come in? So there are a couple of more movies as well. So let me think. Yeah. There is a movie called Gladiator. That's what I remember. But don't don't come into that. Okay. Yeah. So like the movies which come on the creative side and not much on the photo working side. So you wouldn't consider the earlier one? Okay. So on the creative side, yeah, I mean they are really pleasing to us and we get a really good vibe after that. But it doesn't stick to you more than okay. So that's also the thing will stick to your head. So like the movies which leave you with a meta thought lingering on that you consider more open higher. Yeah. I mean, if you are to judge creative stuff, I'll say the animations, they are filled with creativity, right? So, I also explored a lot in that aspect. Yeah, but if they come in, you see like a lot of anime? A lot. Oh, okay. Like, any recommendation in that? Because, I can't relate to anime. Like, I don't, this might hurt a lot of people, but I can't understand anime, like the animation, the vibe it puts out. I can't connect with it. The big faces, large expressions, it doesn't make sense to me. So, animation, I would say it could be classified into two or three parts. One being, so let's just focus on the major stages of anime, which is the Japan. Okay. So they have three broad perspectives towards anime, and overall they have this main motto. They introduce some kind of model time for learning within the anime because it's more integrated towards younger viewers. So let's say there is a section totally devoted to one thing, let's say which only kids watch it. So that's we can separate. Okay. Then another one is where there is a very great or full script actually. So let me give an example. So there's one for Naruto. Okay. So if you so there are many characters in there, and every character has his or her like backstory, which is quite in depth. I mean, so the way from where it starts from the middle actually the story, and then it moves back and forth, and it covers a lot of aspects, and it actually touches like human nature as well. So there is a very precise way of writing that which I appreciate, and actually it's in my top list the way it has been written. And I get the writing part, like how Breaking Bad is, like in the writing terms, they show you the past and all the past seasons and explaining the current future, present or the future. Like that's the also thought. Yeah. In anime, yeah. So in anime, but it can be the creativity or the imagination is a lot more. Anything can happen, right? I mean, so that is not going to happen in TV series. The Breaking Bad is very precise and it's something which that humans are capable of doing. Yeah, you can mix it with a lot of other things. Okay. Another one was this cowboy bebop. I don't think. I like it for the jazz. And because of
that I actually started to listen to that.
Okay. Like, have you seen Another Man?
No.
Okay, no. That was a movie which got me into jazz. Nice. And like, you see Miyazaki stuff, the Ghibli.
Yeah.
I can understand Ghibli and the motor and that Ghibli and Makoto Shinkai, who does Your Name and all. This too I can understand. But these long series, the I don't remember One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, this good category, I could never make sense of it. See, how are these both different?
The Ghibli ones and
Ghibli and Naruto.
okay. So Ghibli ones are short, right? It's just like they are very much straightforward in nature. Mostly, I would say, but there is imagination and creativity built in them. Okay. When it comes to these things, they are more about like probing into characters, like character building. I mean, what happens in the story to that character. Those are the kind of things which they are more interested in. Instead of, I mean, the characters make the story, and they are the story makes the characters. Right? Like to divide in that.
Nice. So there, as you said that it starts from the present and while the scale is increasing in the future and it's so massive the scale that it will have to justify it with a very precise and well written path.
Yeah.
And that's how this whole circle satisfies your working experience. Okay, nice. So we are done with music, books, and movies. And is there any other art form you consume?
I'll say, um, anything like I said, as you mentioned, nature. Right? Let's say you look at a flower, right? You say it's beautiful, but then a lot of things also happen within that. Let's say if you look more minutely, it has fallen there and it has an inbuilt intricate system of how it works. So those kind of things, the more you delve into that, the more thought-provoking it is. Why was it designed in this way? What must have happened in the past? How would the first flower look like? Why was flower required? Those are the questions that come into mind. Similarly, the same thing with the stars, you know.
Yeah.
So I've been really like my first choice was to switch to Astrophysics or astronomy. So I've been started using or like looking into very much from my younger days. Later on, I took to tech, but yeah, my interest is basically in the future. I will maybe maybe
Why did you switch to tech?
Okay, so mostly about the usability or like the kind of study pattern which goes. It is something which is more safer, I would say. That's why you are in terms of career. Like, so I remember I was a part of. So after 10 or 12, I was invited to some seminar and one person from NASA. So I think he's a very prominent astrophysicist from India. Worked in NASA and ISRO as well. And came up with a lot of slides and all. There were a lot of other professors and stuff. He was one of them. And he presented some of the really not so much disclosed photos of the Hubble telescope and others. And we had a very meaningful discussion that I was and that's why from that point on, I wanted to, but then it's not that much easy to transition to it. That's what I done. I mean,
so you discovered astrophysics after you had already chosen that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
I mean, so in the school days, I was also interested in tech as well. You have to choose one thing. And, so let's say you pick up engineering as a skill, you just can't go to that. You have to select it earlier. If you miss that train, you have to move forward.
No. Great.
Yes, so more on this astrophysics front. Tell me, like, have you discovered like Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah. So Carl Sagan was one of the first astronomers who actually made it popular to the younger viewers about astrophysics in US. It later on translated to India as well. But yeah, I have been following him.
You've read both of their books?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Actually, there is also a series. I think it
Cosmos.
Cosmos.
Yeah.
The book is there. Cosmos. I read it, but the series is also good.
Okay, your Cosmos, the book from Sagan, and series is Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson.
I haven't read any of Carl Sagan's books. Like they were like far fetched for me. Like, can you give me a
There is one book.
into it?
Yeah, there is one book called Astronomy 101 or something like that.
Okay, from his side.
So that's a very good one. I mean, from to begin with, like how stars and other things behave the way they do. With the current knowledge that we have, in the future there will be more discoveries, which I'm quite sure. Okay, that is a good book to start with.
Okay, and like I've read Astrophysics for People in Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like pretty easy book. Yeah, so that was good though. Like, how did you like Cosmos? And have you seen series like these before?
Yeah, so okay, series like Cosmos.
Yeah.
Doubt that there is a dedicated series which is related to it, like the way Cosmos is.
Yeah.
I mean, they introduce some kind of imagination more than like what I like.
Cosmos is like pretty thought provoking, so you must have liked it a lot.
Yeah. But okay, there was one book which I read very much early. Like it was regarding the times of Galileo's and Meissner, the research that they had done. But that's actually more. So it's more about catalog of stars and stuff like that. So there was a book dedicated to like what stars in the northern, southern, where what. So yeah.
Nice. And so like you said that like when you look at nature and like how a flower works, it comes from a seed, and you keep on going. Why did this happen? This happened. Like, so do you go in these rabbit holes frequently?
Yeah, so not.
Do you get the answers though? Like,
no.
Why did this come up?
So the answers are not important. The curiosity is important. You will end up with some kind of answer, some kind of satisfactory answer. But then the curiosity will drive you towards more in-depth knowledge.
One answer leads you to two more questions, and so it goes. Yeah.
So the answer is to just be curious regarding whatever is there. Even like I remember I went to a glacier previous year. It was so there's a mountain, right? So the Himalayan mountain range happened by collision of two continents, and there was some kind of ocean there, right? Now, recently they discovered that ocean or something like that, trapped water in some of the glaciers. So when I went there,
went there like glacier went there?
Yeah, the Gangotri glacier I went there.
Okay,
So,
wow.
So you walk on top of the glacier, and then there is a Mount Sibling which you scale. So there when I was walking, I was thinking the same thing. Like so you see very high mountains very pretty up close, right? The first question which hits you is like why are they here in the first place? And then you know there are two continents which collided, which resulted in this the piece of land which got cut off from Madagascar thing. So then you think like that there was an ocean, right? And that some kind of water must have been trapped within this waters. And recently they discovered that. So
wow, and you went there and you saw it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean the questions were there. I didn't know if they will be found or not, but yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Have you do these expeditions frequently?
I mean currently since I have the budget, I have started.
Nice.
It all depends on money.
Have you planned these more expeditions in the future?
Yeah, I'm going next week only. I'm going to some another mountain.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay. So is there something new happening there and you're going to discover that?
Depends on what we see. But
nice.
I mean, just spotting the mountains is a big deal. I mean, this is that is that. It gives you satisfaction. So in the future, I have thought I would. So once I have reached my financial independence in some way, I would travel. I have plans to go to Antarctica in the future. Like it may happen, may not happen, but the plans are there. So you have to apply for some kind of post or some kind of technician post, which I think I can help them with. So
nice.
That is a good
thing. So 40 tak kamai, then return and do all of this.
Yeah.
Nice. When you go there, is it just the vibe which attracts you and curiosity? Because most of the people when they go to these huge and nature dominated places, there's this awe wala feeling that this is something way more which we generally look in our daily lives, and it kind of pushes us from our own reality and takes us into something deeper.
Okay.
Does that attract you, or do you feel that?
Okay, so you are saying that let's say one saw a mountain, they must have thought about it earlier, so they don't think about that when they see it. Is it
Oh,
so?
no. It's more of like the awe feeling. It pushes from you. Like, we live our own lives. We don't see anything so large and majestic as a mountain.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, and you have this feeling of awe that this is something. Okay, it has come out and come, not just come, but it has manifested from an energy, something larger, and you can contact that larger energy through that majestic mountain for this. I
Yeah, so
suppose.
mountains are powerful.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to, like, I look at them for inspiration as well. So let's say you once you meditate there, or just observe them, you can feel some kind of you say elevated sense of energy or being than you were before. That's what I personally feel. So
You've meditated on mountains?
I mean, just a little bit, but yeah, it gives you real satisfaction. I mean, like, so so I have actually, let's say, I've actually sat. So let's take this Gangotri for example. Right? It's a very secluded place. I mean, very high up. There's no bus. There's no.
Okay.
There's nobody. Like after a point, there's no kind of vehicle which can go up there. Okay. So so there is this temple, the Gangotri Dham, and once you cross that, you go into the mountain and to that Gangotri National Park. Okay. So people who are living there, they are choosing to live there. The monks or the saints, and it's really what to say. It's really harsh. The temperatures are sub zero or freezing mostly, and I remember one morning I woke up and I saw some. Let's say saint. He was literally like wearing a half shirt or something like that, and some basic clothes and just walking. While I was wondering, my nose. I mean, I have covered every part of my body. Just my nose was remaining. I was like, how could I cover it up? So that actually really like again goggins. Anything is possible, right? So that provoked that thing, and I went to talk to him actually after in the.
So he spoke Hindi or like,
yeah. Okay. So I asked him like, so he gave his own his own learning that he thought that is there. So it was a really fun session with him, and they were really friendly and really like in such a harsh situation where even food, let's say if there's some landslide or something happens, the food will even block. They don't care. They live and live to the fullest. That's what I really.
What did he spoke about?
So me and my brother, we had gone for trekking and we met him, and so the thing that he told, so let's say what we are doing is like we are playing robots and other stuff. Our first question was like, it's a controversial thing, so which I won't mention, but he told like it may or may not be true. That's it. But the thing which matters is the way you live your life. I mean, so there is one. So the thing of karma, right? He mentioned some other terminology which I don't remember currently. But the thing was, let's say your father or let's say somebody's relative is doing something bad, right? So that doesn't make you bad. But if you don't tell anything about that person or just do something to seclude or quarantine that stuff, then you have done something bad. So if once you live life in these matters, in these principles, you will achieve some kind of like solace in yourself. Like at least you have done something right. And once, let's say you in a bucket of your let's imagine your karma is a bucket and you are filling in with good deeds. The more filling it is, the more happier you will feel. So in life, like even if you don't contribute anything, if you just do this thing, you have done something meaningful in your life. And so the conversation was lengthy, but the gist is something like that only. And, yeah.
So the mental self-talk which we have,
Yeah.
and in that space, if we stay true to our morals and do good deeds,
Yeah.
you lived a good life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you don't need to do something big or some big discovery or invention or earn some huge amount of money or donate. You just need to just stick to your moral compass and then and refine your morality as you live your life. That was the main thing.
So, was he a proper yogi, the guy you talked to?
Yeah, I mean he
Full-time meditator.
Meditator. I'm not sure. But they are living there in such harsh climates without any sweaters or something like that. That's in itself a big thing.
That's a big deal.
I remember him. So it was 5 a.m. in the morning. He took a bucket. So before Ganga becomes Ganga, it's a confluence of many tributaries, right? The first, it's Bhagirathi, right?
Okay.
Gangotri means Bhagirathi starts. It's a very small stream. You will not even tell it's a river or something like that. So, but the water is very cold.
Okay.
It's just melted from that glacier. I remember it was 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning, and I went out to just freshen up. And I was just thinking, should I touch the water or not? And he came like anything, took the water from that river, and he bathed somewhere near without any issues. So that commands respect.
Yeah, sure. Nice. But have you heard of Wim Hof?
No.
Okay, so he's a guy who has started this meditation technique. I guess it was self-discovered to him. So he takes cold baths, of course. He goes to these ice cold places, and I guess he also went to Antarctica. Maybe I'm wrong. And where he's half naked and goes directly jumps into cold water. But he has developed this breathing technique. I guess it's called Wim Hof breathing technique, and he just goes into that cold water, just very happily with a smile. He's meditating in that sheer cold water, and he also teaches this technique to everyone. So he goes on these expeditions with a group of people, and they go all into that ice cold water doing this breathing technique, and they're completely fine.
Okay.
Huge negative temperatures, and you'll be fine with this breathing technique. It's breathing all oxygen in and holding it for as long as possible. It's very hyperventilating-ish breathing, and you come at a point you would just take a lot of whiff of oxygen and have it in your lungs. It 90 seconds or so for the first time, and then you keep on increasing this take-ins of oxygen. And this, I guess, makes you immune to cold temperatures. It increases your body temperature, good for immunity and all.
Yep. That's why they last a lot longer.
Yeah. On this note, I'd like to ask how you meditate. I know you do, so
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so meditation. So when I was young, let's say in class 8 or 9, I think.
Oh.
So I read it in a book. So my sister had some book regarding meditation, and there was one chapter regarding meditation, and just told basic thing like you need to sit and just breathe or something like that. And I started from there. I didn't learn it from any other place. And so what you do, just out of curiosity, you experiment. They mentioned a couple of hand signs, mudras, and some sitting positions. So what I should do was experiment. Let's say I give 10 days for this, give 10 days for that, or let's say before exam I meditated in this way. What happened? So after doing that, I realized those things don't matter that much. But the thing is you need to just sit and concentrate, or not concentrate. Let your thoughts flow. Just sit idly. That's the challenging part. Once you start to do that,
It helped in exams.
Yeah. Obviously,
Oh,
it
wow.
does. I would see my productivity increase during exams, so that's really good. So, I used to do that, but not regularly. It was on and off kind of pattern. Now, recently I started, so during the COVID, I picked up proper meditations. So, there's another thing I tried, which was called Kriya Yoga, I think. It also includes,
you've done that? Nice.
Yeah, so, my sister is interested in those sort of things. She introduced me to learn that, and so it's a collection of a lot of stuff, lots of yoga and breathing and meditation over a certain period of time. So I did it. It was really helpful, but so when I came to Hyderabad with challenges which comes to going to office early and stuff like that, you cannot I mean, it doesn't necessarily happen irregularly. So the meditation that I do follow is quite simple. It's like 10 minutes of meditation. Let's say I select two poses, two mudras, which I think it's a Gyan and Dhyan.
Like mudras are like
hand signs, yeah.
How do things look like?
Just connect your index on this. This is one. The Dhyan is like this one. And there are other ones as well. Like there was one, I don't remember this. So that you might say like it might not work, but I would say it works. So the thing is once you meditate a lot, so what will happen is like so the blood flows right in both. So when some kind of sensation happens, right, it gets to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind always keeps track of what's happening. So like it's very much powerful than anything else. So the more you tap into your subconscious mind, the more closer you go, the more better you become, I'd say. And that's the goal of meditation. So yep. So I do some basic meditation for 10 minutes followed by some pranayam for let's say 5 to 6 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes is done. And before sleeping also I do it. That's it. 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay, so 20 minutes in a day.
In a day, so 10 minutes and then followed by savasana or something like that.
Okay.
And just sleep.
So tell me more of this Kriya Yoga course you did. Like what is it and what do they teach?
So this Kriya Yoga. So my elder brother, he used to. He was a volunteer at Art of Living. So he introduced it to my elder sister, and my elder sister introduced it to me during COVID. So we used to do it. So there are 3 stages of it, like 3 different poses where you do breathing in a certain way, and so it's mostly about breathing and meditating. So once you have breathed and done some kind of yoga, and then you meditate in the end, and then you call it done. So Kriya Yoga, I think it varies. There was one which I learned during the Art of Living course. The second one, actually, previous year I went to Rishikesh. So there is a. So what had happened, as I mentioned, that Gangotri one, right? So at the end of it, there was a red alert.
Red alert. Okay.
So we all had to flee because.
What does that mean?
Red alert means the weather is going to worsen, and it worsened, and those sages were still there. They didn't go. That's a different thing. Once we reached our way back, I remember we reached to our base camp in night, and just after 9 p.m, huge snowfall happened till morning.
There's snowfall there?
Yeah, rain and snowfall, everything was covered in snow in the morning. So that's a thing. So we had a couple of days off because we didn't move ahead further. We stayed there. So we decided to switch to Rishikesh for a couple of days, 3 days. So there's a Kriya Yoga ashram. So while going through it, I went there. And so I would say the inside there, it was the best meditation hall I had ever been to. I mean, the kind of meditation they were doing, awesome. I mean, so there were a lot of foreign folks as well, like from Japan, from Korea, and other places as well. So I remember, their schedule was, so it was a very silent place. I mean, I didn't know, it was the first time I went to an ashram and I tried it out. So so in 5:45 they start. So I decided to join it. I didn't know what happens there. They were doing something, I was mimicking that, but it went on for hours, and in the end you meditate after those breathing sessions and all. I mean, trust me, it was a really, really great experience. Like, you will feel like you have achieved something. So, but yeah, that requires time, and in current context of jobs and stuff, it's very hard to follow. But I do it on and off, let's say once in the weekends if I get some time.
Okay. Is it different type of breathing technique?
Breathing technique, yeah. So you breathe, but the intensity of breath increases. So over time, so it's like you are doing some warm up. You are taking as the time increases, the amount of air you breathe also increases. And yeah.
So you just start with normal breathing.
Yeah. So it's a very silent room, right? So the people who are doing it, you could hear their breathe like a vehicle passing by or something.
Okay.
That was how it was.
So the vibe of the place would be super intense though, right?
Yeah. The morning.
And everyone meditates together.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I went to Vipassana, right?
Yeah.
I highly recommend you going there. You will like, yeah. So their basic motto, like it's not like worded out, but you have to assume it. Like everything passes, nothing stays. So like the whole, like I did the 7-day course, but I guess for you it would be a 10-day course. From the first day to the last day, your intensity of appreciating the present moment, it upgrades. Like now, if a normal human would, like if we tell him or her to go in the present moment, he'll have a certain kind of perception of the present moment. After doing Vipassana, like it would be like for the normal human being, it would be like 240p, like the pixel resolution 240p, and this one just jumps you to like 2160, 4K. Everything gets so real and bright in the present moment because like it it doesn't just tell you, it makes you experience that how paper like the present moment is and the importance to go in that, because all of like general all the human civilization just hopes for the next moment. Like they are filled with complete a desire which pushes them away from the present moment, and they just want the future moment, and they don't realize how time is just fleeting, and they're just hoping for the future moment, and they also don't experience that, know that they are looking for the next moment on this. Unknowingly, everyone, like most of the human beings, are looking for the next moment and they're ignoring this one. And this paradox is completely evaded after Vipassana. And even there, completely silent, it's in the middle of nowhere, silent, everyone's meditating in one room. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to explore that.
You also have any other rituals you practice?
Rituals.
Like things and activities you do on a daily basis,
Okay.
which provide some kind of mental peace.
Mental peace?
No, like
Okay.
it gets you into the flow of the day and whatever.
Okay. So I have a automation set up in my place.
Okay.
So what happens is like when the alarm goes off, so it will automatically turn on the lights and then tell me about my calendar, my reminder, and then play the news. So while that is happening, I may or may not be in my bed, but by the end of it, it's hardly 15 minutes or something like that, I am up.
Wow.
So by that time I would have known what's my calendar for today, what are the reminders for today, and some basic news just to give a extra twist.
Wow.
Some motivation.
How did you create this?
So so there's so I used Google. So I mostly I actually like what to say, exploring in tech because my own profile is. So there's a Google Nest Hub or Google Nest Audio. So I have both, and so I can set up automations in many ways that I want to. So in Google Home, let's say you can set up automations. Let's say within a certain time span in the morning, whenever an alarm goes off. Once you shut it down, what are the sequence of steps that needs to happen? Similarly, before bedtime, something happens. So that starts you.
Oh yeah.
And then I have I keep a sheet. Let's say you have a Google sheet or Excel sheet. Every day, like 1 year is 365 days, right? If you map it on a sheet, it's just a little space only. So you just need one Google sheet for an entire year, and then and then I track it. I mean, so I also set up some kind of code script to create some graph from the data that I do. So let's say currently my focus is to become good in certain things. Okay, so I've quantified. I have done yesterday. I did this much amount of let's say coding of certain way. Okay, so I keep track of the progress, and those progress gets generated in a form of a graph, which you can see in real time. And so the first thing is to check the graph, look at today's like how you are functioning, and then think what you can do today, and just go ahead with it. So that's a very good way to start. Like once you have visual proof of you are moving forward or not, that helps a lot. So
there's also a mood tracker in this.
Mood tracker?
Like, do you also add how you are feeling at the moment?
No.
No, I saw this documentary recently, and people also track their mood like across the year, and it helped them to know themselves a lot more. So You can add that. But I'm going to do this, of course. Nice. And it's a similar question, but do you have any pockets of stillness?
So pockets of stillness, I would say, just focusing on one's closing eyes and focusing on one's breath.
Okay.
So like the heart is involuntary, right? I mean, you don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
But though you're breathing, you can. So it's being controlled by your subconscious mind. We don't even pay notice to it. But once we start to pay notice to something which our subconscious mind focuses on, the more calmer or the more silent we become. So that's what I'm observing.
You talk a lot about subconscious mind. Like do you have genuine interest in exploring what is in your subconscious?
Yeah. So actually, subconscious mind has got a lot of
Bad name?
not a lot of bad name. So we don't know our potential when it comes to mental capability. That's something again Goggins. So I remember I used to watch a show. So it was about there are some mentalists, right? They can tell you what number you're thinking or
The show Mentalist? Which show were you saying?
I don't remember, but it was mentalist or mentalism or something like that. Okay. So
Fiction?
it's not fiction.
Oh, okay.
Actually, mentalism is real. The CIA, the intelligence use it over time. But the thing is to just so people know how our subconscious mind works, and if people know more about it, they can use it. So the using part is not the important. The knowing the subconscious and your capabilities is very much important. So that's what my personal goal is to just to improve in this thing more and more, to get to know myself more and more. And yeah, so the things that so anything in life, let's say when you should give up is also decided by subconscious mind. It tells you you should not go ahead because of this. The more one gets in a feedback loop, the more they have some kind of control over that subconscious mind, and that leads to a huge amount of benefit.
Do you think you've discovered some part of your subconscious mind through meditation and breathing techniques you follow?
I have touched, but I wouldn't say like I have reached any kind of mastery.
1%.
Yeah.
More than one?
I would not say that. You just touch it.
Okay.
But even if you like get more in touch with your subconscious mind, it's just temporary. So that's something which requires more effort, which is not that much simple.
But it's certainly a goal to know more of your subconscious mind. Okay, like I took a lot of recommendations from books, movies, and music. I'd like to know also TV shows apart from anime.
TV shows? I mean, TV shows in fiction or?
Well, both, like whichever provoked your thought.
Okay. So there is one series called Genius. It's based on Einstein's life.
Achha.
In general. So like the physics that we read or in the our curriculum, it's mostly related to the 1900s physics or 1800s.
Okay.
Mostly. So actually it tells a lot about the kind of people who were there and the kind of things that were there. I mean, we kind of think that this is very much hard, right? That gives a perspective that this has been done 200 years when there was not even a single piece of computer or people had to, they didn't have light even proper. So that's when these things were done, and currently like we can do a lot more into that. So
we are lagging behind. That's what it's saying.
We are taking the current. Let's say you are studying physics, right? It may be like it's very much over the top or very much high level, but the thing once we get to realize that these are not that much high level because it has already been done in the past is something that needs to be understood, and the historical significance is very much important to be known. And I really like to know history of anything, precise history, documentaries, because the more you learn about history, the more you learn about the true self of people and the true self of progress.
Yeah, like we've of course slowed down from the past though. Like I guess this is also something what the meaning crisis is talking about. Like humans have got way more of privilege than once we
Once
used
we
to
do,
have,
yeah.
and we've taken this privilege for granted, and we've fallen in love with this. I guess it's a very toxic form of love. The privilege we have, we also ignore it. We don't acknowledge it, but we are involved in it to a lot of degree. And I guess that is why we've slowed down a lot of, like, a lot more. Do you think the same? Like,
Yeah.
we've slowed down because of privilege, or is there any other reason as well?
So with the current kind of technology or aids at our hand, we should have progressed much more faster. That's what I believe. And so the reasoning being that so in the older days, right, people had to live on their toes every time because of the way it was at then, and that used to provoke thoughts. So necessity is the mother of invention, right? And so it did a lot of that.
Yeah.
Currently, we live in a democratic world where supposedly there is comparatively there is lesser threat to mankind. In general. I mean there is, but for normal people, they can even pass out. So that's what many people are doing, right? We waste our time on smartphones, and the companies actually they know how the subconscious mind works and how. So they research more and more, and they're
researching the wrong parts more.
Yeah.
We are putting, with the limited energy which we have, leaving out the privileged part and the work we are doing, and it's not in the right direction.
So our time is being wasted in watching Facebook or YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
And actually they know the reward cycle in our brain, how it works.
Because the most talked about thing is now threads and Twitter. These are not supposed to be the topics that focus.
That's why I shifted to automation as well, to remove smartphone from our life. It will be just for calling. Somebody calls, I pick up, or if I have to do some smart work, let's say buy something, or apart from that, I don't touch. I just keep it somewhere else.
Nice. So you're like, are you on a constant social media detox?
I mean, I try not to. I mean, so it's like even 15 to 20 minutes, I would max it out. Like if I am, let's say, normally I spend my time on my laptop. Once you start doing that, the other things, some kind of work related things you will be interested in, you will be working. But once you shift to phone, that's when your notifications will start to pop up. Oh, this happened, that happened. And then once you get into that, the problem starts. So the key is to reduce the screen time. And that happens when, let's say, why do we open our phones? We worry somebody messaged us or somebody called us or something happened. Apart from that, we don't need to open the phone. But once we open the phone, we get into the world of their demand. So if we automate, we don't need to phone. Like, if something happens, something will notify me that is there right in front of us.
Yeah. Well, we can talk a lot about these rituals and meaning, like meditation. Now we move over to meaning making. Like this is like I guess I won't call it the most important, but this section is the reason why this podcast is. So it will start with through these podcasts I'm trying to make people aware on the importance asking why personally to ourselves, why on every basis, to the big questions and also to the smallest things, why I walk a particular way, why I breathe this way, in all ways. So I'd like to ask you the same, how frequently and how much and how important is it to you to ask why?
Okay. So why is actually the most important question. So that the point being that, so once we start to question why, the more, so it leads to a more towards self-reflection, as well as it improves critical thinking. And the people who have more critical thinking, they end up more nearer to success in their relative fields. So you require some kind of feedback loop of betterment, and why provides that exact the solution to whys provide the answer to everything. So let's say in my company, so whenever some bug or you can say some issue, let's say Amazon didn't work for a minute or something like that. Now people are not. Inside the company, we used to follow the principle of 5 whys. So if you ask 5 whys to yourself, you will get to know more. So let's start with something happened, right? Why something happened? You will answer it. Then why that happened? You will answer it. Then why that happened? So similarly, if you do this practice of 5 whys in anything, it will solve or at least simplify or actually make you more aware of what happened, as well as you will be more able to think of solutions to that. So that's the why is a very big factor. Major companies follow that. That's why I'm saying it's the most important question.
Wow. So so going down the rabbit hole of why. Wow, I didn't know they did this. Were all the employees successful in answering those whys?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay.
It's our job.
Nice. Do you also have to submit to someone larger that these are my answers to whys?
Yeah, so if something happened, the entire team or the related stakeholders need to know why it happened, and just not. Only one answer is not important. Everything. So, with practice or with previous research, people have found that answering 5 whys will lead to a lot more in depth understanding of what happened and what is to be done.
So next question: do you attach meaning to things?
Okay. So while attaching
meaning, so whatever experiences, things, and moments, you attach external meaning, feelings through thoughts which you later on gain on that thing. So this is a cup, and I pay attention to it on the basis of making thoughts. Now this mug is very close to me, and there's a bond between that cup and me, and I use it while reading books and listening to music. So there's a very different social bond between parasocial bond between that mug and me. Completely irrelevant. It's just a mug. It doesn't have any, but you externally attach meaning to it.
Okay.
So on that basis, do you attach that kind of meaning to experiences, memories?
Okay. So I personally do not. My take on this thing is let's take this example. So let's say I wore a certain t-shirt. Okay, went to give an exam. The exam went bad. Okay. Now the feedback loop will be because of wearing this shirt, my exam went bad. Okay, so that's doing this activity till a certain limit is fine. Once you go beyond that, it leads to superstitions and biases. That's my personal take on this. So let's say all the superstitions are born from this kind of meanings only. That's what I think.
Okay.
So, but when it comes to meaning, giving meaning. So let's say something happened in your life, right? I could add a meaning to it. It happened, and the meaning of it is I am learning something about something that happened. It happened for this reason. Kind of, that's the meaning which I derived out of it. As I said, if I do this exercise more and more, I may delve into this superstition or anything. So.
Well, you always I generally do it with positive things. Whenever I tend to start associating or find something or find the inclination of something getting attached with a negative connotation, I stop it quickly and I just keep it with positive stuff. So it just piles good stuff and growth on it. So but I know there can be any moment that tower will fall down. But let's just hope it does not happen. But do you do this with music? Because a lot of people do it with music. Like good memories, and you listen to a song to it at the same time. So when the next time you listen to the same song, there's a very the aftertaste of that memory sticks to the music, and that music just grows on you as a positive thing, and it means a lot more than the first time you just listen to it.
Okay. So what I do, so every music that we listen to it, so let's say I listen to a music, one of the thoughts that can happen and that mostly happens is when was the first time I listened to it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, listening to music for memories is not something which I mostly do. I listen to music and then recollect the memory which was there associated with that. So I mean, there are a lot of music and artists I didn't know, and what I used to do was randomly pick anything and then start listening. Let's say Coldplay, I didn't know what Coldplay was when I was quite young.
Yeah.
But the band is from 1980s, I think, or even earlier. So one friend gave me a list of folders, and I started to listen Coldplay like at that time, and I didn't know who Coldplay was, what it is, and so out of our album, only 2 or 3 you may like, and I mean you may like all, but you mostly people like 2 or 3 which they add in their playlist, and so that's the memory. So what had happened, like after let's say many years down the line, this Coldplay came to India, right? So something like that happened, and that's when that memory was there, like how I started listening and when I didn't know, and this is actually famous band I didn't know even. So that is how it is. So yep, things evoke memories rather than me listening to stuff for getting memories. That's what I think.
But now you told that you are going somewhere as an expedition.
Yeah.
I do this thing like whenever I'm going to an exotic place, like I've discovered a band which I've not listened to, but I have a feeling that I'm going to really like it. So I save that band / music to the place where I go, which probably I won't visit again. So I listen to that same band to the whole time I was in that exotic place.
Okay.
So that music gets stuck to the place, and that place sticks onto the band / music. So any other time in the future, I'll listen to that music. I'll get reminded of the whole trip I had there. And you can do that if you want. Yeah. So there's basic question. How do you want your legacy to be? Like, how would after your death, how would you like to be remembered from people?
Okay, so the legacy, I mean, we can do only as much in our like very fragile life. So the legacy being that people get some sort of inspiration, and they also contribute from whatever they can to the best to the society or to the human or mankind in a broad sense.
Okay, nice. But for you personally, how would you like to be remembered? Like through your work or through, like anything you have? Or you just want people to forget about you?
No.
Okay.
So being remembered mostly because of the virtue of a person has.
Sure.
So let's say I would like myself to be remembered for the interactions I had with them, or they perceiving me as a man of virtue and passion and curiosity. So that's what I would also like to them to follow in their own lives as well.
Nice. Yeah. So the question now, which I'll ask you, which is like the most important of this podcast. So, what is something in your life which you feel is more real or higher than the reality which you experience right now? How would you like to devote your life to something out there which is larger, bigger than, which is capable to being understand of?
Okay, I mean, it should include things. Let's say there are things which are not yet found, and we devote, but we didn't make an impact or dent towards it. It should count, or does it not count?
Yeah, if you think that way, then of course it counts. Like, let me explain it in a better way. Something which you look up to, it may it could be found on the lines of somewhere around God. Like, what would you like to be devoted to? Something which you think is more real, more, or just higher on the dominance hierarchy of the world is at the highest and you would like to just surpass everything to it.
Okay. So I am mostly an agnostic kind of person. So I would say one thing. Let's say there used to be a person called Spinoza.
Yeah.
So the main thing that he used to tell, the main teaching that is like, in order to understand God or get to God, we need to understand how nature works or how stuff works and dive more deep into that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there are a lot of things which are not known. Okay, why some stuff happens, why some stuff doesn't happen, and so you think about it, but then you don't have the means or the tools in your box to unravel that.
Yeah.
So the thing being that with constant pursuing that field or to know or to discover in that field can only make a dent in understanding what happened and how to explain that. So I would say like picking up a field and then becoming better at it every day. That's the thing, or that's the mindset that should be there. So like making gradual progress every single day. That's it. It will lead to some bigger impact.
I don't know if I guess you experience it whenever you go into a subject or a thing so deeper, like as you go deep and you go at a very specific point, how does that make you feel when you go deep into something or a subject so deep and it goes at its minute and you break it down more and you pick a piece in that and then you break it down into pieces and pick one thing in that. Have you done that? And how does that state feel where you are so deep into something? How does that make you feel?
It makes you feel very elated to break a level. Let's say you mentioned one thing, you spread it out, you go deeper, you go deeper.
Yeah.
The more deep the levels you surpass, the more happier or elated you feel that you have done something meaningful. Like you started from the top and you have reached or dug till here. That deserves a what to say,
Nice.
compliment to one person.
Yeah. A compliment to you as well. Cool. I guess now the formal podcast has been done, but I still ask this question. If you have something new to say about it, feel free to do so. What is the meaning of your life?
Okay. So, let's see it in this way. So, William Shakespeare wrote a quote in, I think it was As You Like It, I don't remember that, but the quote went like this. So life is a stage where men and women perform, and and people play different parts in that stage. That so they enter as a kid and they exit as an old person, and then they die. That the thing is that when it comes to meaning, right? So we are just artists or performers on a stage. That's it. The meaning, like what we did or what we have done, like I don't think we should judge that. The people who are watching that show, it's up to them to perceive what has happened or what this person has done. Our job is to just do whatever best we can do and just play the act. That's it. That's what I personally believe. So hence, thinking more about the meaning of our life is not that much important. Doing something towards whatever we want to do and becoming better, as I mentioned, becoming better every day is something which matters, and people will perceive this and derive meaning out of it the best they can.
So as you mentioned that there's an audience grading the meaning which you derive, so who do you think the audience is?
So anybody, it can be anybody who is observing or following you in some way. Let me give an example. Let's say Feynman. Okay, Richard P. Feynman. So I don't know him. Okay, personally. So what he did, he published some lectures on physics at his time. So from there, I wanted to look into his life, like what he had done. So I am trying to observe him. And what happened, he had given multiple interviews or multiple anecdotes regarding his life. So those were recorded somewhere. So I, in my curiosity or my aim to observe his life, I did that or saw that content on any platform, and I am deriving meaning of what he did. I mean, it's up to me. Did he do good or did he do bad, or what did he did? What did he mean by doing this and that, and so on and so forth. But him, I don't think he would have thought what he did. He was just leaving behind a legacy of things that he was just working on or passionately following. So,
But won't you be the also another participant in the play? He's in a play. Then, like, further in time, you were another character in the same play. You are reacting Feynman's work in the play, not as an audience though. So, still who's the audience, or is there is no audience?
So
Just we are doing a play for no one.
yeah, it's an open play. Like anybody can come in, anybody can leave. It's just up to them if they want to observe that person. It can be anyone who is wanting to observe that person. That's the point. I mean, so let's say if it is me, if anybody wants to perceive me, like what am I doing or what have I been up to, that's the audience. Even if I die, if they want to perceive my work, they are the audience, so on and so forth. So let's say Feynman and me, we can't be at the same stage because he was from time much ago than I was. But if we were like at the same time and at the same age, we would be part of the same stage, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Well, so are we just playing characters? We are
Yeah, we are just playing ourselves to an open court. That's it.
So we can go deep, but I don't think it's going to make sense now. So it will come back that do we have scripts? Is everything pre-written? And do you want to go there?
Okay, scripts written in the play.
Yeah, we are doing a play, so we also have scripts, and we are living according to a character, or is there we doing we?
Okay.
Like,
let me give you a better example this time.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a movie called The Truman Show. Have you watched it?
Yes.
So it's about that. I don't remember the actor name, but
so he was just one character with no free will. So we are just okay. So the world is an audience, and we are just one character.
One character, and every person has his own stage. I would say we can put in that. So
the stage is in the mind. Yeah, right.
Stage being that. So let's say me being. Let's say I am talking. Let's say I'm talking, right? So me, I am the stage actually. If anybody who saw or witnessed me say,
the audience.
That's the audience. And if they saw me talking on a video, that's the audience. If they saw me read about something that I wrote, that's the audience. So, but I am the creator, and that's how life is. Everybody has its own stage they are playing, and just people are observing who want to observe that. That's it.
Yeah, I feel you. Done with the podcast. Do you think are there any questions which you thought you would answer in the podcast but I didn't ask? You can feel free to talk about those.
I don't think you covered a lot of topics in a very short span of time, so that's really kudos to you.
I guess
it's very hard to do that.
And thank you.
Yep, you covered a wide range of topics, and I think that was quite comprehensive.
Well, do you have anything more to talk about though? Still?
I don't think much is left. If anything is left, it can be done at a
done next time.
Podcast. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Like, did you get back anything from this podcast? Like, how did this podcast perform? Was this podcast thought provoking to you?
Yeah, I mean, I never sit back and think about this sort of stuff. While you asked me questions, I thought about this, and it's my first podcast, so so yeah, the questions were really thought provoking, and I really thought. So,
Nice.
yep.
Actually, yeah.
Really great exercise.
Well, it was also thought provoking to me to find someone who's also looking for thought provocation through art. That's a very unique thing, and no one's actively trying to do that. So I compliment you there. Nice.
Compliment taken.
Nice. I guess we're done. I thank you to come here and do the podcast.